We have with us Sajith from Blume. So Sajith would tell us a little bit more about what the sectors Blume is looking at, as well as their investment thesis. Also the proverbial fund which is supposed to be closing this year, right Sajith?
That's true. Yeah, we'll announce it soon. We've already announced the first close of our Fund 3. Right. And we'll end up somewhere between 80 and 100 million. We've already done some investments out of that fund, and I think the most recent announcement was Stage 3, right, which is in the business of women's fashion rentals. Historically, we're known as a tech fund. Fundamentally, we look at, yes, we're a tech fund, but we like businesses which have a strong tech spine, which are tech-led, not necessarily tech products. We've looked at EdTech. Unacademy is a Blume fund. We also looked at deep tech. So we looked at consumer products which have a strong tech spine. We looked at B2B products like DataWeave, etc., which have strong thing. But we also looked at, for example, deep tech investments. So we will continue to look at all of these buckets.
Are there any breakout sectors or specific sectors which you're looking at from the upcoming fund? And also, if you could give us a sense of how much of the Fund 3 have you deployed so far? We've
liked EdTech and Agritech, and we've had but 3 investments in each. And what we like about these sectors is that the mobile phone and its growth, thanks to Jio, thanks to the rise of smartphones, is suddenly leading to very interesting behavior from end consumers. So specific problems in these sectors are beginning to be identified by entrepreneurs, and they're beginning to come up with innovative products to cater to this. But that said, we've also done strongly deep tech. Euler Motors, which is electric vehicles, or Ethereal, which is 3D printing machines, are all most strongly what we call the deep tech investments that we've done.
So these are typically sectors which are looked at as, long gestation sectors. What is your thesis on possible exits from these companies?
So when you're talking about the VC business exits, you're talking about those 6 to 7 exits out of a 30 investment fund. Now for those 6 to 7 investments, yes, you're right. Some of the 3 to 4, which are the smaller ones, will happen a little more faster. Either through an M&A transaction, unlikely they'll go IPO. But the real big investments that finally happen will have to either go IPO or will be a very large acquisition some years down the line. So yes, exit is critical. There are different kinds of exits. The exits that truly matter are large outcomes. IPOs preferred. Founders need to build towards that. We are encouraging, and we'll do what it takes to help them and arm them with the tools and support that's necessary to get there. But yes, it'll take time. Yeah.
Multiple firms have raised funds this year. So how do you see that? Is that more the merrier kind of a scenario, or do you think that there'll be going ahead, there would be sector-specific, sector-focused funds which will emerge?
So at Blume, we actually find all of this actually to be a positive thing. Because when we look at our one, we typically end up getting between 3,000 to 4,000 inbounds a year. And of the 3,000 to 4,000, not all of them are fundable. I would say about 20 to 25% are fundable. And it's good for the founders to have that confidence that there are 10 to 12 funds they can reach out to. Sector-specific funds, as you said, is an extremely welcome development. It shows that there are actually operators who are starting funds. Then specifically, even funds such as ours have decided to go double down. For example, because I come from education and media, I'm able to kind of bring that kind of value. So funds are also beginning to concentrate and specialize, and this is all a welcome thing for the Indian listing. Founders should temper their valuation expectations. They should constantly focus on which VC would I like on my cap table. Because your cap table and who you bring on that is a very strategic decision. So founders should also be very strategic in the way they pick, just as we are strategic in the way we pick. And if these two, tempering the valuation expectations, understanding which VC is right for you, can be done by the founder, then it's wonderful for them as well. Yeah.
So one last question would be that from your Fund 3, would you continue to co-invest?
So co-investing will continue. There are VCs who will come together to pool risk. But when stake targets are important, you may not be able to have both of them actively participate with the same amount, then you'll figure out solutions like this. We've seen one interesting trend with co-investing, which is that founders are getting very strategic about their cap tables, and they're beginning to get super angels into the cap table. Like, for example, Procol was an interesting one. While Blume led it, and he'd been talking to Blume for a long time, rather Zerodha's Rain Matter Capital to kind of invest. Nitin Kamath came in.
Got it. And also, have you earmarked a number which you want to invest in from the Fund 3? The number of companies as well as, the apportionment.
We'll end up anywhere between 80 to 100 million. Typically it'll go towards, so the way it happens is we'll typically invest anywhere from 25 to 30 investments, and we'll also have to keep some money for follow-on rounds. Right. Given the amount of money we invest, which is 750k to 1 million, which is around 5 to 7 crores, we'll typically have space for about 25 to 30 primary checks. And 7 to 8, 6 to 7, maybe a little bit more, you will have to then back them up with the second and third check. So we'll keep the rest of the funds for that. Yeah. So that's typically how it works. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sajith, for your time. Thank
you.
you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Payal.